أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, today I'm going to be speaking about Aisha radiallahu anha. Now, the series title is Heroes of Islam. And before I indulge upon the life of Aisha, we want to make it clear why we call these people the heroes of Islam. For the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said that the best generation is my generation, then the one that follows, and then the one that follows. And then after that there will be many liars. So if we want to look to quality, if we want to look to the best generation, if we want to see the best examples, the best heroes, it is best that we go to the best generation. And that generation is the generation of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions. May Allah be pleased with all of them. So when we talk about the heroes, they may not have achieved great things in the eyes of many people, but in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the eyes of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, these people are pearls, these people are diamonds, something that all of us should cherish, something that all of us should look after, be proud about, be proud to show off. Because these people indeed were the people of Jannah, the people that we are talking about. And when we look and search our hearts, we find many questions. Am I going to be a person of paradise? Am I going to abstain from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And the only way that we get some content or we feel some happiness is when we look to their lives and they give us an example that maybe we can be like these people. Because these people used to be people like you and I. But the big difference used to be that they used to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they used to follow the revelation. This is the big difference. And this is something that all of us we can achieve. This is something that is in the reach of all of us. So when we talk about these heroes of Islam, remember, these heroes, these examples is something that you can follow. It's something that you can reach, the standard that you can reach up to. That's if you put the effort in the way that they put the effort in. That if you put the sacrifice and the struggle in the way that they put the sacrifice and the struggle in. And inshallah today we're going to speak about one of the best women. One of the best believing women that was ever created. Aisha radiallahu anha. And this woman, obviously, if we speak about her virtues, subhanallah, it makes you realize why so many people recognize the name Aisha. That this name is so popular amongst many of the Muslims that you hear so many of the children, so many of the girls named after Aisha. But unfortunately, many of them, they don't understand the weight, the status of this woman. The only thing they understand that yes, she used to be the wife of the Prophet. Even the Prophet ﷺ, he used to give a specific day for the women so they can study, so they can understand and appreciate Islam. So this is why it's important for us to give special preference and speak about the issues of the women. Because these women are going to be the mothers of the next generation. These women are going to be the wives of some of the brothers. And it's very important because the woman is the key thing to the household. That if the woman is corrupt, then the household will be corrupt. But if the woman is correct, then the household could be correct. And this is why we need to give special focus for the women. And which woman to speak about than Aisha radiallahu anha? Because this woman was given the special preference by the Prophet ﷺ himself. That when the Prophet ﷺ, he was asked, who is the most beloved? Who is it that you love the most from amongst the people? And he replied, Aisha. And you know that all as companions of the Prophet, they all used to love the Prophet ﷺ. They all used to like it when the Prophet used to draw near to them, used to give them attention, used to praise them. And Amr, the one that asked this question, he thought himself that he was going to say himself, that Amr, I like you the most. But the reply was, obviously, that he loved Aisha the most. And you know, subhanallah, the Prophet ﷺ, he was never shy of showing his love for Aisha. That he was always willing to show that he had affection for her, regardless if it was to the men or the women. And obviously, if we look to ourselves, our own examples, when we need to show love and affection to our own women, it becomes difficult to get those words out of our mouth. Obviously, for many of us, it's a bit corny to say, I love you. So even we laugh now. But to say this to the woman, to give her confidence, to give her that encouragement, that she is somebody of quality, that she is somebody of status, that she has her own role and man has her own role. And we are, as the ones that are the heads of the family, we should make sure that this woman, this jewel, is protected and honored. Because if we do not control it, then like the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the woman is like a bent rib. If you force her too much, you'll break the rib. So this is why we need to make sure that the way that we treat the women is with perfection. And obviously we need to look to the example of the Prophet ﷺ. But like the messenger, he was asked, who is the most beloved person to you? He said, Aisha. And then Amr, he asked, amongst the men though, who is the one? It goes, her father. Just to show the quality of this one family. He's still looking that, the Prophet is going to say me. And he even said, who then? He said, Umar bin Khattab. Subhanallah. But you can see, this one hadith is enough for some of those people that attack the companions of the Prophet. That this hadith is just enough to get rid of those doubts. But we can see even further to this, that Fatima, who used to be the daughter of the Prophet ﷺ, the one that the Messenger ﷺ used to love, that one time when Aisha was in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ and Fatima, she entered the room. And Aisha, understandably, she felt uncomfortable around Fatima because she knew that obviously the Prophet had love for Fatima. And when Fatima entered, there was this hostility between the two. Not obviously in a bad way, but there was that uneasiness. And so the Prophet, he asked Fatima, he said, do you love what I love? And Fatima obviously replied, damn, of course I do. And then he pointed at Aisha and then you should love her because I love her. So you can see that the Prophet ﷺ, he had this love for Aisha. And the same thing that if we love the messenger, then we should love who he loves. And indeed, he used to love Aisha. That she used to be his favorite wife. She used to be the one that he used to favor. She used to be the one that obviously even the salam from Jibreel was sent to Aisha. She used to be the one that was given purification by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. There's so many virtues behind this one woman. And just to show her how superior she was amongst the other women, the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that many amongst the men attained perfection, but amongst the women none attained the perfection except Maryam, the daughter of Imran, and Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh. And the superiority of Aisha to other women is like that superiority of tarid to other meals. Now tarid was an Arabic dish, and the reason this dish was superior over all other dishes, because it was a complete and perfect dish. With some dishes, you always still feel hungry afterwards. But with this dish, it was a complete dish. It was a full dish. And this is why it used to be more superior than any other things. And this is why the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that Aisha, she had this superiority about her. So when we look to Aisha, we should remember all of these things. That Aisha is the best example for us. She is the one that the Messenger used to love the most. That she is the one that was preferred by the Messenger. So this is why we chose to speak about her. That she is the best example for any Muslimah today. For anybody that wants to look for a wife, that wants to look for a mother. That the sisters themselves, if they contemplate and think about what is the example that I should follow, then Aisha radiallahu anha is the best example for any woman. That she is the one. She was the wife of the Prophet. And she was an example. She was a scholar. She was somebody learned. She was somebody that used to give da'wah. She was somebody proficient in medicine and poetry. And you can see all of these qualities, inshallah, we'll speak about it later. But when we look to the life of Aisha, we need to look to how is it that this woman was brought up to be such a perfect woman. That she had these qualities. That she was obviously superior over all other things. And if we look to Aisha's upbringing, because it's always important that when you look at somebody's life, that you always look to their upbringing. Because if their upbringing was correct, then the individual themselves, they'll have the right attitude and the right mentality. But if their upbringing was corrupted and distorted and away from that of the fitrah, then they can lead down any other path than the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.